Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's MLB games and look ahead to today's games. We'll go over some Olympic results and look ahead a little bit to tonight and tomorrow morning. NBA free agency has begun. We'll do that and go over all the signings, news and notes, and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start in Major League Baseball. Without further ado, here we go with the results from last night. Indians over the Blue Jays 5-2 and 10. The Indians are 52 and 51. Toronto 54 and 49. Getting the win was Brian Shaw, the loss Brad Hand, and Emmanuel Clace with the save. Phillies over the Nationals 7-5. The Phillies are 53 and 53. The Nats are 49 and 57. Archie Bradley the win. Getting dinged the loss was Gabe Klobostitz. And Ian Kennedy gets the save. Orioles over the Yankees 7-1. The Orioles are 38 and 67. The Yanks are 56 and 49. Jorge Lopez the win and Andrew Heaney the loss. Marlins over the Mets 6-3. The Marlins 45 and 61. The Mets 55 and 50. Jesus Luzardo the win. Tyler McGill the loss and Dylan Floro the save. Mariners over the Rays 8-2. The Mariners 57 and 50. The Rays are 64 and 43. Chris Flexen the win, and Michael Wacha the loss. Rangers over the Angels 4-1. The Rangers are 39 and 67. And the Angels are 52 and 54. Dane Dunning the win. Chris Rodriguez the loss, and Spencer Patton the save. Rangers over the Angels. Pirates lose again to the Brewers 6-2. Milwaukee 64 to 43. Pittsburgh 40 and 66. Eric Lauer the win, Bryce Wilson the loss, and Brad Boxberger with the save. And the Giants over the Diamondbacks 11-8 and 10. San Francisco 67 and 39, best record in baseball still. Arizona 33 and 74. Getting the win was Jarlene Garcia and the loss, Miguel Aguilar. All right, looking ahead to tonight's games. At 7 o'clock, you have the Orioles and the Yankees. Garrett Cole is supposed to start, but he got tested positive for COVID and will not make the start now. And it's going to be Nestor Cortez instead against Austin Wells. The Yanks are still huge favorites, minus 250. Orioles are over 2-1. Over under 10. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Orioles plus 1/2 is plus 110. Yankees minus 1/2 is minus 132. I'm going to go under 10 minus 115. Nestor Cortez pitched well in his last game against a much better Rays team than what the Orioles are. I think the Orioles have a letdown after last night offensively. Yankees potentially doing this by themselves is what could cost us the over. And it's not inconceivable that they go over by themselves, but maybe it's like a 8-1 Yankee win. So I'm going to go under 10 minus 115. Phillies Nationals. Zach Wheeler and Patrick Corbin. Phillies minus 172. Nats plus 144. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Phillies minus 1/2 is even money. Nats plus 1/2 is minus 120. I'm going to go over 8.5 minus 106. Patrick Corbin has just been terrible this season. Indians Blue Jays from Toronto. It's going to be a great atmosphere there. Zach Plesac and Hyunjin Ryu. Blue Jays minus 210. Indians plus 176. Over under 9. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Indians plus 1/2 is minus 111. Blue Jays minus 1/2 is minus 108. I'm going to lay the 1/2 of the Blue Jays at minus 108. Red Sox Tigers. Garrett Richards and Willie Peralta. Boston minus 148. Detroit plus 126. Over under 10 minus 110 each way. Boston minus 1/2 is plus 108. Tigers plus 1/2 is minus 130. I'm going over 10 minus 110. Red Sox offense bounces back, but I don't know about Garrett Richards. So over 10 minus 110. Twins Reds. Kenta Maeda and Tyler Mahle. Reds minus 126. Twins plus 108, over under 9, overs minus 102, unders minus 110. Twins plus 1/2 is minus 182, Reds minus 1/2 is plus 150. I'm going to take... Ooh, this is a tough one. Reds run line, minus 1/2 is plus 150. Ballsy play, but I like it. Marlins hosting the Mets. Taijuan Walker Munoz is going for Miami. Mets minus 154. Marlins plus 130, over under 7/2, minus 110 each way. Mets minus 1/2 is plus 118. Marlins plus 1/2 is minus 142. I'm going over 7/2, minus 110. I think that Taijuan Walker's been terrible of late, and I think the Mets offense bounces back. That combines to an over for me. Mariners Rays. Yusei Kikuchi and Luis Patino. Rays minus 168. Mariners plus 142. Over under 8. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Mariners plus 1/2 is minus 154. Rays minus 1/2 is plus 128. I'm going over 8 minus 115, but I don't feel good about it. 8 o'clock, Angels Rangers. Jose Suarez and Jordan Lyles. Angels minus 126. Texas plus 108, over under 8.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Angels minus 1/2 is plus 138. Texas plus 1/2 is minus 166. Tough one, but I'm going to go with another over, 8.5, minus 118. Royals White Sox. Chris Bubic and Dylan Cease. White Sox minus 255, Royals plus 210, over under 9, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. KC plus 1/2 is plus 106. White Sox minus 1/2 is minus 120. I'm going over 9, minus 105. Pirates Brewers. Max Krinick and Adrian Hauser. The Brewers minus 225. Pittsburgh plus 188. Over under 9. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Pittsburgh plus 1/2 is minus 108. Milwaukee minus 1/2 is minus 111. I'm going to lay the run line with the Brewers. Minus 1.5, minus 111. 8:15, Braves Cardinals. Max Fried and John Lester. So John Lester making his Cardinals debut. Atlanta's minus 130. St. Louis plus 110, over under 9. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Braves plus 1/2 is, or minus 1/2 is plus 125. Cardinals plus 1/2 is minus 150. I love the fit for John Lester here in St. Louis. I think he'll pitch well, and I think the Cardinals will win. Plus 110 for the Cardinals. Cubs Rockies at 8:30. Zach Davies and Kyle Freeland. Rockies minus 144. Cubs plus 122. Over under 11.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Cubs plus 1/2 is minus 140. Rockies minus 1/2 is plus 116. I'm going under 11.5, minus 118. The Cubs offense is so bad without Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo. So I'm going under minus 118. Or under 11.5, minus 118. 9:30, Padres Athletics. Blake Snell and Sean Manaea. No lines up yet for this game, but I assume that the Athletics are favored here, as they should be. And if the total is anything less than 8.5, I'll jump on the over. Then we got the Giants and the Diamondbacks again. Johnny Cueto, Madison Bumgarner. So this is a throwback pitching matchup. Bumgarner against his ex-team. Giants are minus 178. D-backs plus 150. Over under 9.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Giants minus 1.5 and Diamondbacks plus 1.5 for each minus 110. I'm going to go over 9.5, minus 115. I think this is another shootout. And 10 o'clock to eat. One of the more highly anticipated matchups of the year. Probably the World Series preview. The Astros and the Dodgers. Lance McCullers Jr., Walker Buehler. It's either this or White Sox, Dodgers. But this could very well be the World Series preview right here, although it's the World Series rematch, too, from 2017. Dodgers minus 180, Astros plus 152, over under 8.5. Over minus 114, unders minus 106. Astros plus 1.5 is minus 146. Dodgers minus 1.5 is plus 122. I want to lay it with the Dodgers. I think that this is going to be nasty. I think those fans are going to be nasty. They're going to take after what the New York fans did and say FL Tuve. I think they're going to go ballistic. I love the Dodgers. This is blowout written all over it. Bueller's going to be awesome. Dodgers -1.5 is +122. That's the move tonight for this game. All right, now we'll move on to the Olympics. We will go over results that happened last night and yesterday and look ahead to tonight and today. So, without further ado, here we go. We will start with men's basketball. The quarterfinals have been completed. Australia over Argentina 97-59. As Australia advances to the semis. France over Italy 84-75. The United States over Spain 95-51. Best bet was a loser by 5 points. And Slovenia over Germany 94-70. Baseball round 1. Dominican Republic over Israel 7-6. And then tonight at 11 o'clock, you have the Dominican Republic and the United States. I think this is going to be a good game. On the DR side, you have Jose Bautista, Melky Cabrera, among notable baseball players. And then on our side, U.S., you have Scott Kazmir, Edwin Jackson, Todd Frazier, David Robertson, Shane Baz, Simeon Woods, Richardson, Tristan Casa. So I think Team USA is just better than Dominican Republic from a talent standpoint. So I'm going to go with the United States tonight in the round 2 rep change. Artistic swimming women's so in first place in the women's duet at the moment is ROC. Second is China. Third, Ukraine. Fourth, Japan. Fifth, Canada. Sixth, Italy. Seventh, Australia. Eighth, France. Ninth, Netherlands. 10th, Belarus. 11th, Spain. 12th, Mexico. And then 13th, United States. So, the final is tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. So, U.S. doesn't make the final in the artistic swimming duet. All right, gymnastics. Men's parallel bars getting the gold. Zhao Jian Zhou of China. Coming in second, Lucas Dosner of Germany. And coming in third with the bronze, Ferhat Arikan of Turkey. Women's balance beam getting the gold. Guan Chenchen of China getting the silver. Tang Xing of China getting the bronze. And wasn't that far off from the gold. About 0.633 from the gold. Simone Biles in her return. Men's horizontal bar getting the gold. Daiki Hashimoto getting the silver. Tin Srbek of Croatia. Obviously Hashimoto from Japan. And getting the bronze, Nikita Nagorny of ROC. I'm trying to see anything here. Diving, men's 3-meter springboard. Getting the gold, Zi Sai of China. The silver, Wang Zhongyan of China. And the bronze, Jack Lauder of Great Britain. That was the final. Hockey semifinals. Yes, we have hockey in the Summer Olympics, guys. Australia over Germany 3-1. And Belgium over India 5-2. And by the way, it's not that type of hockey. It's field hockey. Soccer, Spain over Japan 1-0 in the semifinals. And Brazil over Mexico 4-1 in penalty kicks. That was your final. Will be Spain versus Brazil for men's soccer. Table tennis. Quarterfinal, Germany over Chinese Taipei 3-2. Japan over Sweden 3-1. China over France 3-0. And South Korea over Brazil 3-0. And women's semifinal for table tennis. Japan over Hong Kong 3-0. And then the quarterfinals were overnight. China over Singapore 3-0 and Germany over South Korea 3-2. So China and Germany will face off in the semis. And the winner of that game that match will take Japan on in the final for the gold. Volleyball's live right now between Poland and France in the quarters. Argentina over Italy 3-2. Brazil over Japan 3-0. And ROC over Canada 3-0 for men's volleyball quarterfinal. Water polo women's quarterfinal. ROC over Australia 9-8. Hungary over Netherlands 14-11. Spain over China 11-7. And US over Canada 16-5. Right now we'll look ahead to today, which is day 12. Or tonight, I should say. So the artistic swimming women's duo final is tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. The women's 400-meter hurdles is tonight at 10:30. The women's 3,000-meter steeplechase is tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern. So we did rep change 2 between DR and US, and then tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow is South Korea and Japan in the semifinal. This is going to be a good match, I think. I want to say Japan. I think they're the better team, so I'm going to go with Japan. And women's basketball tonight, China and Serbia, Australia, US. Tomorrow morning, Japan and Belgium, and then 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, Spain and France. I'm going to do my picks here for women's. I'm going to go with Serbia. Got to go with the United States. They're just the best team in the tournament by far in the women's. I'm going to go with Belgium over Japan, and then between Spain and France, I'm going to go with France. Beach volleyball quarterfinals tonight at 8 o'clock. So that's going to be fun. 8 o'clock tonight, it's ROC in Norway. Ilya Lashukov and Konstantin Semenov, and then of Norway, Anders Moe and Christian Sarum. Let's go with ROC in that one. 9 o'clock quarterfinal, you have Latvia and Brazil. Martins Plavins and Edgar Tokes of Latvia, and Alvaro Marias Filo and Alison Carudi of Brazil. We're going to go with Latvia in that one. 8 o'clock a.m., you got Germany and ROC. Clemens Wickler and Julius Stoll, and that are of Germany, and Vyacheslav Krishnikov and Oleg Stoyanovsky of ROC. We're going to go ROC in that match. And then at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, you have Qatar and Italy. Ahmed Tajan and Sharif Yanesi of Qatar and Daniil Lupo and Paolo Nicole of Italy. We're going to go with Italy to advance in the semis. Boxing's tomorrow night. Tonight you have the canoe sprint. You have the women's 10-meter platform diving tomorrow at 2 a.m. Equestrian finals tomorrow at 6 a.m. You have handball tonight at 8:30, the quarterfinals. Field hockey semifinals tonight at 9:30. Netherlands and Great Britain, and then tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Argentina and India. And then you have sailing, marathon swimming, skateboarding, table tennis, water polo, wrestling, weightlifting. So we'll go over everything on the show tomorrow, and then obviously look ahead to everything going on tomorrow night. All right, NBA free agency. We're going to separate that from news and notes only because it's NBA free agency. It's NBA Christmas, as you all know. So, the big story of NBA free agency, day one, to me, was Kyle Lowry getting signed and traded to the Miami Heat. 3 years, $90 million. I think that is a great addition for Miami. He's somebody that kind of fits into the Heat culture. So he's going to be the third wheel on that team behind Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. And they also brought back Duncan Robinson, 5 years, $90 million. So that's good as well. And then the biggest story in terms of a player moving, I feel, other than Lowry, was the Bulls, a sign and trade for Lonzo Ball, 4 years, $85 million, and coming back to New Orleans. Thomas Satoransky, Garrett Temple sign and trade, and a second-round pick. I think it's a great deal for Chicago. I think this is their way of trying to make them take that next step into the playoff picture. And the biggest re-signing was the Phoenix Suns re-signing Chris Paul, 4 years, $120 million. Should be no surprise. They had to do it. Good for Rob Sarver in that front office to get this done. He's the reason why they were relevant last year, not taking anything away from the improvements of Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges. But without the leadership of Chris Paul and his play, the Suns would have probably been in the play-in tournament. The Utah Jazz re-signed Mike Conley, 3 years, $72.5 million. This is something that I thought that had to get done as well. He's a good veteran for them, been in a lot of big games, helped that team a lot. So good re-signing for the Utah Jazz. Cleveland Cavaliers re-signed Jared Allen, 5 years, $100 million. Ooh, that's a pretty big contract for Jared Allen. It's typical of the Cavaliers. So they have him and Evan Mobley now in the front court. And then Sexton and Garland in the back court. So now that team is a little bit more interesting. Let's see what they do with Kevin Love. It's probably going to be a buyout. We have Jared Allen back to Cleveland. And coming back to Toronto, we don't know what's going back to Toronto for Kyle Lowry. But I would assume it would be like Precious Achiuwa and another piece. We don't know who that other piece is. Goran Dragic, maybe? I don't think it's Tyler Herro or Kendrick Nunn, though. And it looks like that the Heat are extending Jimmy Butler, which is very good for them to lock up their star player. 5 years, $90 million. We talked about for Duncan Robinson. PJ Tucker to the Miami Heat, 2 years, $15 million. Obviously, PJ Tucker was on that Bucks team that won the title. He didn't really do that much. He just stood around and really didn't do much. He, to me, isn't the same player as he used to be. I don't like that they gave him 2 years, but I would have done a 1-year deal for $7 million or something like that. But we'll see if Tucker rebounds from a poor finals. Tim Hardaway Jr. back to the Dallas Mavericks, 4 years, $72 million. That contract is not as bad as that Knicks contract was when he signed it, and then that contract looked better as he became a better player with the Mavericks after he got traded there. Evan Fournier to the New York Knicks, 4 years, $78 million. I love the deal for the Knicks because they did not go over $80 million. They went under $80 million. $80 million to me would have been the ceiling for Evan Fournier. For them, they needed a scoring wing very badly. So they have him and RJ Barrett on the wing. At point guard, Derrick Rose, who was awesome for them last year. And then Mitchell Robinson's back. And then obviously Julius Randle. So, and then the Knicks also brought back some of their people from last year, including Rose, which we'll get to. But I think Evan Fournier will help spread the floor and will do a lot a signing like this. So a good signing by New York. Norman Powell back to the Blazers, 5 years, $90 million. I think that's a lot for Norman Powell. But they want to keep Damian Lillard happy. So I understand why they did it. And he's a good player too. So Gary Trent back to the Raptors, 3 years, $54 million. So that's good that they got that piece from Norman Powell back. Otto Porter to the Warriors, 1 year, $2.4 million. That's a steal, as Otto Porter could have went elsewhere. Bobby Porter's back to the Bucks, 2 years, $9 million. He helped them a lot. Supermax extensions, Trae Young to the extending with the Hawks. 5 years, $207 million. So that is a great extension for Trae Young, and he deserved it after carrying the Hawks to the conference finals. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the Thunder, 5 years, $172 million. Obviously, Shai is their guy that they want to build around long term. He's been in trade rumors, but I don't think Oklahoma City really wanted to trade him. I think they want to build around him for the future. So I like that they extended him. So, some other notable ones, Alex Caruso to the Bulls, 4 years, $37 million. So a little over $9 million a year for Alex Caruso. He's going to be a bench guy for Chicago. Dwight Howard back to the Lakers, 1 year, $2.6 million. I like that for the Lakers, back up big. Trevor Ariza, 1 year, $2.6. He'll help them. Kent Bazemore, 1 year, $2.4. Good wing player, too. Wayne Ellington, 1 year, $2.1 to the Lakers. So there's good role players to fill out the roster with LeBron, AD, and Westbrook. So that's really it for free agency. And then the other one that broke last night, Spencer Dinwiddie to the Wizards. So that's a risky one only because of his injury. And then Nick Batum re-signed with the Clippers, so that's good news. And for them. And the Knicks bring back Derrick Rose, 3 years, $43 million. New Orleans Noel, 3 years, $32 million. And Alec Burks, 3 years, $30 million. So a couple role players from last year back with the Knicks plus Evan Fournier, but they lose Reggie Bullock to the Mavericks, which is okay because he was in their starting lineup and he'll be replaced by someone who's a better player than Evan Fournier. Alrighty. Now news and notes. There's going to be some NBA stuff in here as well, but I want to separate the signings from news and notes. DeMar DeRozan in the Knicks' mutual interest, but I doubt that now that they have Evan Fournier. 4 teams eyeing Reggie Jackson: the Pelicans, the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Nuggets. We'll see if he'll end up being overpaid or not after his great playoffs. We talked about this earlier. Garrett Cole testing positive for COVID-19 and will miss Tuesday's start. Luckily, it's against the Orioles. I know they lost last night, but they were due for a bad game. It happens. Andrew Heaney was terrible. Yankee offense didn't show up. But Nestor Cortez was brilliant against the Rays last time he pitched. So, in a way, hopefully Cole gets well soon, but and is okay. But if there was a start that the Yankees could afford to not pitch Garrett Cole in, it'd be against the Orioles, not against the Red Sox. They're lucky this isn't against the Red Sox or the Rays or a start where they would actually need Garrett Cole. So hopefully Garrett Cole gets well soon, and hopefully he's back for his next start if the Yankees learn that it's a false positive, which there are rumors that it is, and Cole is indeed vaccinated as well. So let's just hope it's a false positive and he's back for his next start. LSU quarterback Miles Brennan out indefinitely and will undergo surgery on a left arm injury, and status for 2021 is unknown. That is really brutal for LSU after a bad year last year. Obviously, we'll get into college football more within the next couple weeks because the season's less than a month away already, which is incredible. So we'll get into that. Chris Paul has wrist surgery, but is expected to be ready for training camp. So that explains anything with why Chris Paul didn't have a couple good games in the finals. The Baylor athletic director, Mack Rhodes, shades Texas on leaving the Big 12. I think it's because they felt too little of themselves. Ooh. That is shady. The Rays and the Cubs discussed a trade involving Tyler Glasnow, Chris Bryant, and Craig Kimbrell. I wouldn't have done that if I were the Rays. I would have done a trade for them without Tyler Glasnow. I would have thrown in like Brendan McKay and some of those prospects. Because getting rid of Tyler Glasnow, I know he's getting Tommy John surgery, but that could have been something that come back to haunt him. Nick Foles praises Frank Reich amid buzz of a potential trade to Indy, with news coming out yesterday that Carson Wentz will be out 5 to 12 weeks and will undergo foot surgery after initially planning to rest and rehab injury on his own. So that's a big loss for the Colts, and they really need an upgrade over Jacob Eason to start the season. So we'll see if they acquire Nick Foles from Chicago or not, because he'll certainly help them. And obviously the relationship with Frank Reich, that match does make a lot of sense. Alrighty, best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. Yesterday's was a loser, going over 180 in USA Spain. And if I'm not mistaken, Spain covered by a half point in that game too. And I almost took USA as my best bet minus the points. But today's best bet will be over 7.5 in Mets Marlins. I think that Taiwan Walker has not been good of late. So I'm going to lay a quarter unit on over 7.5 between the Mets and the Marlins for my best bet of the day. All right, that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from baseball and Olympics, more NBA free agency news I'll have, news and notes, maybe an activity, and my best bet too. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.